All right, so welcome to the information video for homework assignment chapter 6. And what we're going to do in this information video is we are going to go through our first attempt at doing a visual analysis of the behaviors that we have been recording. Okay, so first thing that I wanted to mention is that we are going to continue on recording the behaviors that we have been recording so far. So that is a continuing theme that we have. We need recordings of behavior in order to do future assignments. So we want to keep going with recording the typing test. We want to keep going with recording the dual and back. We want to keep going with recording the SART. We want to keep going with Clockify so that we have a baseline of your day-to-day behaviors. And we also want to keep going with your self-selected behavior number 1 and behavior number 2. So continue with those. Hopefully they become part of your daily practice now so you fit them in. And again, remember that we are looking for 5 out of 7 days. That is what we want to establish a kind of stable baseline for those behaviors. And now that we have collected many days worth of data, what we're going to do right now is we're going to go through a visual analysis of that data in order to help us when we start with the behavior modification. So for this visual analysis, what we're going to do is, first off, you're going to take a look at the graphs of your behaviors. So we have graphs for the typing test. We have graphs for the dual and back, graphs for the SART. You modified the Excel sheet, so you now have graphs for your behavior 1 and graphs for your behavior 2. And what we're going to do is we're first going to do a visual analysis of those behaviors. And what we're looking for here is we are looking for trend. And specifically, we are looking for zero trend. So if you haven't seen the video yet on trend and how to do a visual analysis and what to look for when we're looking for a trend, be sure to watch that, because we're not looking for an increasing trend. We're not looking for a decreasing trend. What we're looking for is we're looking for that zero trend. And when I say zero trend, what I mean is I mean a zero-ish trend. So we're never going to get a perfectly zero trend. But what you're looking for is you're looking for an area of your recorded behavior where there is a level or a constant, continuous, stable level to your behavior. And again, this is going to be through a visual inspection. This is the visual analysis part of it. So just take a look for an area of your recorded behavior. Has to be the recent area. So we're looking for a recent area of recorded behavior where there is a zero trend in the behavior that you recorded. Okay, so just to go through a kind of an example of this, what you're going to do is let's start with the typing test. You're eventually going to do this for each and every behavior that you have, but we're going to start off with the typing test. So take a look at your data for the typing test, and for words per minute, try to find an area of the behavior. Again, starting with the most recent time, try to find an area where you have a stable baseline of behavior, where you kind of leveled out so that you have a zero trend in your behavior. And what you're going to do is you're going to choose a point where that starts. So visually determine where that zero trend starts and where that zero, and then go up to the day that it ends, hopefully the last recorded day of your behavior. And what you're going to do is you are going to enter in every day's score for words per minute. We're going to start with words per minute. You're going to enter every day's score into this homework chapter 6 baseline analysis Excel sheet. And then what this is going to do, once you enter in all of your scores, so you have your day 1 score, day 2, day 3, day 4, once you enter in as many as you have, what you're going to see is that this Excel sheet is actually going to calculate your lowest level of behavior. It's going to calculate your average level of behavior, and it's going to calculate your highest level of behavior. And this is going to be used once we start reinforcing behavior in order to change the level of behavior. So that's what we're going to be doing this homework assignment. So we're going to be doing that for typing test words per minute. We're going to be doing that for typing test accuracy. So again, on the accuracy graph, take a look to see if you can find a place where the behavior sort of levels off. You got that zero trend. And then enter those into this Excel sheet. So the daily values get entered into this Excel sheet. And if you have more than 20 daily values that you want to include in the recording, send me a Canvas message. I'll send you a modified Excel sheet for that. But importantly, what this Excel sheet will do is it will give us within that zero trend, there's going to be a little bit of variability, and it's going to tell us what was the minimum level of that behavior, what was the average level of that behavior, and what was the maximum level of that behavior. And that's going to be important in our next step when we start modifying those behaviors through reinforcement. So again, we are going to be doing this for all the recorded behaviors that you have done so far. So the dual and back percent correct, dual and back total duration, dual and back average, the SART go trials reaction time, SART no go trials reaction time, SART go trials percent correct, SART no go trials percent correct, and then your own behavior measure. And I put two places just in case. I know some of you were measuring two aspects of your own selected behaviors. So if you haven't measured two aspects of it, no worries. You're measuring at least one aspect of it. So enter those in. And again, this Excel sheet will help you calculate those baseline levels, maximum during the baseline and minimum during the baseline. And one last note on this, if you find it hard to find a place where the level is zero, or especially if you have massive amounts of variability, one thing that you can do to help you visually analyze that is to change the scale on the Excel sheet graph. So change the scale on the y-axis. Basically, if you have extreme amounts of variability that might be hiding a zero trend, you can change the scale on your graph and it'll kind of flatten it out, and that'll allow you visually to see if there's any zero trends in there that you can then use. And if you cannot find something that comes close to a zero trend, then for this exercise, in the real world, we would just continue with the behavior until it stabilized out into a baseline. But for this exercise, choose like the zeroest trend that you have, the closest to zero trend that you have. So the part of the recorded behavior where it increases the least, and we'll make do with that just for the purposes of learning how to do this type of visual analysis. All right, so that is it. Once you have your Excel sheet all filled out with all of those behaviors, simply upload that to the Canvas assignment tab. And then we are going to be using this analysis in our next step when we start modifying these behaviors. And just to kind of foreshadow, so you can start thinking about it, these are the measures we're going to use when we start determining how to reinforce certain behaviors so that we can increase behaviors that we want to increase and decrease behaviors that we want to decrease. But until that time, thank you for joining me today on this homework information video. And until next time, stay frosty, stay functional. So we have graphs for your typing test. We have graphs for the dual and back. We have graphs for the SART.